or we want a witness re-interviewed, or we want them to go find a witness that said something on YouTube that we'd like them to find. So it's really not done until we determine we have everything and we can come to a conclusion.
Is there some frustration as a prosecutor that just because no one saw a gun on the video, that there was this immediate assumption that there was no gun, and you've had to spend 40, 45 minutes giving us all of this information to counteract the fact that there was just not any evidence seen on the video?
Well, I'd like to have video that shows everything, and so then we would not have been in this situation. But when you talk about frustration, this city had a reaction that now when you look at the evidence, and if we would have taken that collective pros and provided an opportunity for an investigation to happen, I think it would have been a different scenario. Yes, sir. Sorry.
What is the status now, pardon me if you express this already, what is the status now of any separate FBI investigation and report relative to this, or does this conclude?
It concludes it. Initially, CMPD started the investigation, then we asked the family if they wanted the SBI to review or to be the investigative agency. When they said yes, CMPD is completely out. We have no more discussions. We have no interaction. SBI took it, verified what they have. The SBI came to the conclusion that there was nothing in the initial CMPD that was manipulated, that was changed, and the SBI report from there, it's concluded as of today.
Just one more thing.
Yes, sir.
I think you did a good job on that, and I really appreciate the way that you explained it to me. But would you agree that in the future that we should reverse the law if we got video from the police action that the public would see? I think if the public would have saw where he had this gun and when he went inside the store and all when we was asking, please turn over the video. Please turn over the video. If that had been turned over earlier, a lot of rioting stuff wouldn't happen.
No, sir.
You don't think that would happen?
No, sir. I just cannot agree with you that all the evidence has to be in. Now, if I had definitive evidence early on in the investigation, if the videos were clear from several angles, if I had everything that could say that whether we're going to charge the officer or whether we are not going to charge the officer, then we'll make that decision early. But this required an investigation, a deep investigation. It required us to find those things and to bring them to light. So, no, I would not say that. I would say that let me do the analysis. If I can make that decision in a week based on extremely strong evidence and video, then I'll make that decision in a week. But I'm going to make sure that I make the decision where we take the time, where we're meticulous, where we're thorough, and that we do justice. Because our job is to do justice every time.
And I'm talking about the future, not just this case, but in the future. If you got video where a police officer did a violation and you sit there, that the public or the press would automatically be able to get it filed for a free member. You don't think that that's the right thing to do?
No, sir. My job is to do justice in this community, and just one video is not going to do justice for this community. This community needs to know the facts, the real facts. As in this case, there was a lot of things that were not correct.
I agree with you.
Next question.
Thank you,
Yes, sir.
The person that sold the gun to Mr. Scott, is that person, would you say they cooperated, and is that person facing any charges or going to face charges?
That person is from Gaston County. It was a group. It was the SBI. It was the Gaston County Police. It was alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. It was also apparently a probation officer. And so that person's from Gaston. I do not know the status of that person being charged, whether federal or state, since that didn't occur here. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Have we ever identified the person who was the initial subject that was there to the investigative question about that prior to whether that, has that person been apprehended or served?
I do not know. I'm looking at my SBI agents. I do not know if he was ever apprehended. That really wasn't part of this investigation. They were just there.
What was the context of the text conversation between the Scotts when Mrs. Scott said that she didn't know that he had a gun?
We will. It will be online. We will provide it. Anything that we relied upon, we are linking, and you'll be able to see it and read it.
You mentioned earlier that people have been asking, why is this taking so long? Have you been under political pressure? Have you talked to the governor, the mayor? Have Who's been asking you to hurry up?
I have not been under any political pressure other than the family, obviously, and the attorney wanted to conclude it. Myself, I wanted to do this as carefully, as meticulously as possible, but also this community needs closure. This case needed to be concluded. So we put a lot of time and hours into this case to make certain that we got it done as expeditiously as possible, but thoroughly, meticulously, and making sure that we got it right.
Did you keep the governor's office or the mayor's office updated?
I kept the governor's office, I informed the governor last week that there's a possible decision this week if he needed to know that, and I informed the governor this morning after leaving the family that I would be having a press conference. That's the extent of two conversations.
I'm sorry, are you guys going to share your findings or at least parts of this investigation with CMPD as they continue with their internal affairs probe?
That's a good question. I'm not certain since it's SBI, it's no longer ours. We're no longer the custodian. We will facilitate the family and the family attorneys getting the investigation from SBI. So the family will have it. As to CMPD and theirs, I take it through interagency. They will be able to work that out.
Sorry, Mr. Murray, one more question about medication. I can't identify exactly what it was. Can you say what type?
It's not that I can't identify. It really wasn't part of this analysis. We have it, we reviewed it, but it's not part of this analysis, so it's not pertinent to our decision. So I just won't be discussing it other than he had a psychiatric disorder and was on significant medications.
You mentioned text between Mr. and Mrs. Scott about the gun. Can you give any details? They argued about a gun. Are there any details of those texts that you can give us?
Between Mr. Scott and Mrs. Scott. You're going to see it was a discussion apparently where he says some indication like, can I come home? She's asking him about the gun. He asks her about, do you know how much time I can get for that gun? And it's just a conversation surrounding the gun between him and his wife. You're going to see it this afternoon.
Can you characterize whether she
I don't want to characterize. I don't want to mischaracterize it. It will be on this afternoon. You'll be able to review it. I'm being told the question about medications. A list of the medications is in the report, so you'll be able to see the list of the medications.
I believe you said there were previous Gaston County warrants out.
Correct.
Is that correct? What were those related to the gun? What were those related to?
You guys actually are the ones that published his record. So his record's there. There was some assaultive behavior that he had warrants out for in Gaston County.
Is there a separate SBI report on this, or is that part of what you're making public? If not, can we get a hold of it?
The SBI provides us with a report. We have put all pertinent information that we relied upon. We're going to publish it. We've linked it. However, you're not getting the entire file. There's obviously there's private information. There's private medical information. There's private information. We had a cell phone. Well, a cell phone's pretty private, right? There's a lot of things on there that don't need to be disclosed. So we're disclosing in responsible transparency everything we relied upon. The rest will go back to the SBI, and the Mrs. Scott and their attorneys will get the entire file.
If the wife knowingly misled investigators, could she face charges?
If the wife, say that again?
If the wife knowingly misled investigators, could she lie?
I have no indication that she knowingly misled investigators. There is certainly when somebody is emotional, when they have other things going on. This was a tragic event. I don't see us pursuing any charges like that, if that's what you're asking.
That's all the time that Mr. Murray has for questions. If you have any follow-up questions, feel free to email me. If you don't have my contact information, please see me. I have a card. In a few minutes, we'll be publishing a report online on our